Double spinning X! Double spinning X! Double spinning X!
I won't stop.
Double spinning X! Double spinning X!
So, Rex. A lot of people like him these days thanks to Xenoblade Chronicles 3, but I think he was great even back in Xenoblade 2. In fact, Alrest just could not be saved by anyone else. It had to be him. In this video, I'm going to break down the external and internal reasons why he was the one that the world needed. I'm also going to compare him to two other characters in the game that either wanted to or had the means to save Alrest, just to show their similarities and the contrast between them. First, we gotta quickly define the state of the world they live in, and I'm assuming you played the game if you were watching this, so I won't go over literally everything. Anyway, the Titans that all the people of Alrest live on are slowly dying out. The loss of a Titan means the loss of people's homes as well as all the resources that came with it. While the world hasn't broken into mass hysteria quite yet, it's clear that the tensions between nations are brewing. In fact, Uriah and Mor Ardain have not only begun to have little skirmishes here and there, but also Ardanian influence has already begun to seep its way into other nations like Gormat. Pretty much every single location in here has a little bit of tension going on besides two nations, Tantal and Leftheria. And this actually does match up with our party. Arguably, the character most similar to Rex is Zeke, and we're going to get into a big reason why this is the case. Now, Rex's background, I believe, is a large external reason for why he became the person he is. It's a combination of the loss of his biological parents as well as him being able to live in Fonset Village. His parents are always a constant reminder of the state of the world. However, due to the fact that he grew up in a large, loving family in a small-scale yet humble village, he also got to live a life of peace and love away from the wars. Even his aunt believes that everyone would be happier if the world could live in peace like this. And with Zeke, well, Zeke did also grow up with a family, and he lived in a land far away from all the wars, but he still carries a lot of baggage from being a prince of a isolationist kingdom that I should also add has a shady past. While Rex can send back money and visit his family anytime he wants, Zeke was straight up exiled from his kingdom. He wanted to see the world and try to make it a better place, but he was full-on abandoned by his family. While for Rex, Azurda at least always stuck with him as he went out into the world and became a salvager. And honestly, Azurda is a huge reason that Rex even survives that incident against Torna at the beginning of the game. Zeke had a good relationship with his blade, so he had that down, but it takes a lot more than that to save Alrest. Next, I want to go into the internal aspects of Rex that led to him being the one who needed to go on this journey and save the world. And that is his belief in Elysium, his friends, and his self-reflection and self-awareness. Back in Chapter 2 of the game, Rex officially embarks on his journey to reach Elysium. Nia, staying with the group, of course, leads to a lot of things that really helps them in the future. And aside from Tora, she is the first unlikely hero to join the party. But he didn't really do it by impressing Nia like he did with Tora. He didn't bribe her with money or anything. Instead, it happened out of him recognizing and admitting his own weakness and his trust and protection of Pyra. In general, Rex does like to help the people he comes across, and he spreads that love that nurtured him to people like Pyra, who feel like they shouldn't even exist. Really, Rex is down to help anyone he comes across just because it's the right thing to do. Now, I won't say that Zeke didn't value friends or anything like that, but he definitely did try to save the world on his own, and we all know how that ended up. Luckily, like how Rex's mother carried him to safety, Pandoria carried Zeke, at least partially, to safety. I also want to note how even Rex had a moment where he gave up on himself, but him having the friends he brought along is what helped him pull him out of that despair, along with the third blade, of course. That honestly would have helped Zeke too, because for a while he lost faith in his quest to save the world, and of course his focus mostly being on his friends rather than himself helped him gain the Numa blade, which of course was very useful in their journey. It also helped him reach through Mithra's guilt of all her actions back 500 years ago. Another aspect that helps Rex a lot is him interacting with a lot of people who did actually live in the harsh reality of Alrest. He has people who can give him a reality check every once in a while, and while it doesn't deter him, it does give him more motivation to take a look inside and see what he really needs to do to help them. In general though, I do want to bring up how he tends to see the good in things that other people perceive as bad. For example, when the topic of blades comes into question, Jin hates being a blade in the whole cycle of life of the blade. But Rex sees all the amazing aspects of them, like how they eventually become titans and also sustain life while creating new life at the same time. I also like how Rex didn't try to invalidate the fact that there are bad people in the world, but he has a lot more of a healthy way of looking at these things, that you need to take the good with the bad. You shouldn't just wallow in hatred and anger forever when life takes a turn for the worse. Anyway, Rex's childlike belief in the fairy tale land, I think, is part of his optimism and part of why people trust him. Since he doesn't hold any malicious intent and wears his goals and beliefs on his sleeve, but I don't think that's enough to be as big of an impact as his loving background, his self-awareness, and his helpful nature. Now, I mean, believing in the architect and Elysium, man, only a loser 15-year-old would do that, right? Well, I mean, there was someone else who did that too. Well, I mean, you played the game already, you already know it's Amalthus Popalthus himself. Now, your whole journey throughout the game is to get to Elysium and to climb it, yet there was a guy who actually did that before the game even started. This here is the last guy I'd like to compare to Rex. He's kind of like the worst possible scenario for this world. He lost his mother to the world just like Rex, but he didn't have someone to carry him to safety like the others. He instead took it upon himself to kill the bandits who took his mother from him. From then on, he had a completely negative outlook on humans. He just completely hated them. And him taking in people from all over the world all but confirmed his belief that Alrest is hell. The architect Klaus even believed that there was no hope for humans, so he let Amalthus take the Aegises to do whatever he wanted. If Amalthus even at least was able to challenge the architect's belief that the world was doomed to repeat the mistakes of his world, it's possible that things could have gone very differently, and it would have been even better if he brought people from different nations with him on this journey. I think Amalthus probably could have been different if he met Rex and everyone before climbing the tree. Same with Malos, who took on Amalthus's hate for the world. Even he wished he could have met Rex sooner. But still, at the end of the day, not only did this guy take in a ton of refugees, but he also became a religious figure. I mean, truth be told, he could have done a lot of good in the world and spread a lot of positivity, but instead he disrupted the natural progression of the state of Blades, since unlike Rex and Zeke, they really are just tools to him to be used for their cores. He had all the means to save Alrest, but he already gave up on it. While Rex may give up on himself, he never gave up on the world. In Xenoblade 2 and 3, we see a lot of characters who had similar aspects to each other, but at the end of the day, the outcomes of their journeys were largely influenced by their backgrounds, as well as their ability to change. I first really picked that up in Xenoblade 3, but it was here in 2 as well. Truth be told, I mean, Rex got lucky that he ended up in Fonset, but that didn't end there. The love he was shown was now spread to the rest of the world, and that's something that specifically he chose to do. The difference between Rex and Amalthus/Malos is kind of like the difference between Superman and Homelander, if you know those guys. They're both very similar in their capabilities and their role in the world, but simply because one was raised by a loving, humble family and the other was raised in a cold and uncaring lab, it completely changed their worldview and informs their actions in their adult lives. For some extra points though, honestly, Adam had a hand in all this since he was the one that founded a place like Fonset while his political enemies founded Tantal. I think it's interesting how Zeke is a false chosen descendant of Adam while Rex is a true one. Rex, being similar to Adam, of course, helped him reach Mithra as well. Anyway, I wanted to avoid Heart to Heart since they are missable and there's probably some people that haven't seen them. I mean, I know I haven't even seen all of them, but I wanted to highlight 2 of them that I did see. One of them was a story about how Rex not only used to fight local bullies, but also tried to defend his friends from a monster as a kid. However, he ended up being in trouble too and had to get rescued by the villagers. And then he cried not because he was injured, but because he specifically couldn't save his friends since he was too weak. This is an early instance of his sense of justice, but also his realization that by himself, he won't be strong enough to save everyone. The second heart-to-heart goes back to the comparison between Zeke and Rex. Part of it is Zeke telling Rex about the pressure that the seemingly happy town of Torgoth is in, as well as the rest of Gormott. In general, Zeke shows that he has a lot more experience in seeing all there is to see in Alrest. However, he concludes that it was a fool's errand to think he could save the world. And then it's here when Rex reminds him that he's not alone anymore and that he can lean on them now. Another path on this heart-to-heart leads to Rex telling Zeke that he really admires him since, while Rex is mainly focused on his friends and the people he knows, Zeke is thinking of ways to help everyone, even people whose names he doesn't even know. He tells Zeke that he'll make a good king someday. This can generally show the similarities between Zeke and Rex, while also showing the best aspects of each of them without putting down the other one. Anyway, all in all, I think Rex is a great character. I mean, this probably isn't a surprise that I say that, considering I also like Sora from Kingdom Hearts. And while someone like Shulk maybe is more relatable, It's easier to fall into the negative aspects he has, or the anger that he's clearly capable of, and it doesn't help anyone when that happens. I find it admirable, though, that Rex can still have faith in the world despite the people he's lost personally, and the things he's seen throughout the game. I know that's more difficult to do, and that's why majority of the characters in the game, I mean, even people in real life, are the opposite of Rex, and no longer see the value of people in life. The contrast between his mindset and the state of Alrest was great to see unfold, and I think it's very much worthy of the Xeno series name. I'm honestly glad that we have a variety of protags in Xenoblade, and they're all great for their own reasons. Anyway, that's all I got for today. If you enjoyed this video and want to support, definitely leave a like and subscribe, or comment anything else you found, or any thoughts you had on the video. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and I'll be seeing you guys next time.
And you're alright too, kid. Not that different from me.